Isn't this ridiculous? Can you imagine what other people are doing on a Saturday night? Paige is present. Blinky Boo is present. Paige may be leaving shortly or has left the building, one of the two. You're the chatty one in the class, Blinky. Isn't it amazing that we all have access to the enlightenment that Ramana Maharshi expressed? like the most enlightened being to ever exist, and all we have to do is what he told us to do, and it's accessible to us as well. It's a miracle, but it's the most natural thing. Well, I know, that's why I said that. No, I didn't actually know. I don't. The way the way the organizing power of the universe works is that it's not in the realm of thought, but I'll have a thought, some a thought will just come, and then like the next day, whatever that thought was about will manifest. Like it will. Well, you have to realize that this whole realm is delusion. The reason why you're in this realm is because you're playing the game and you've decided to forget all this intentionally, and now the game is to regain it. So it's all part of the plan. Like if God were to make design a game, the highest intelligence in the universe that's possible, if it was to design a game for its own amusement, and let's say it's a puzzle or a labyrinth, well, it's going to be a pretty tough labyrinth to get out of, right? It's going to be pretty tricky. So that's why, in one respect, it's not easy. It's simple in theory and very, very, very difficult in practice. And another reason why I know people who have done this for decades and yet they're still not enlightened, and it's because they meditate and they get to the silence and the stillness, and then they just go back to normal life, not practicing the meditation when they're not meditating. So it has to be constant. It has to be your life, right? Yeah, there's probably I've never really experienced what people call the dark night of the soul, but yeah, there's a lot of unraveling to go through, right? There's a lot of stuff to work through. But once you realize, once you start to understand what thought really is, and once you start getting a hold of it rather than it getting a hold of you, it won't be so bad because it's just the thoughts, right? It's the thoughts that get you in that dark place. But when you realize that the thoughts only have as much power as you allow them to have, then you start being the boss. But you are, it all has to be taken care of. Like it has to be addressed eventually. And kicking the can down the road, your karma can down the road, only makes it worse. So stick with it and you'll get through it. This used to not be effortless for me as well. It used to be very difficult, but you just stick with it. And it might take years, but how many years have you been in delusion? So you wouldn't expect it to just snap out, and after like 13.8 billion years, all of a sudden you're just, oh yeah, it's all good now. Like it might it might take some effort, some effortless effort. Yeah, I remember Nisargadatta said that it was took him 3 years. And I've been following Ramana's teaching for about 12 years now. Yeah, once you find, like, once you've decided, all right, well, this is the practice, then just adhere to the practice and give up all searching and just shift it all into practice, right? As much as it's nice to have people view my videos, if you know what I'm going to say, and I say the same freaking thing every time, then just know what I'm going to say and just skip to the chase, right? Like just just go straight to the practice. I look very jaundiced. Yeah, he used to kick out people quite regularly. I remember one story about him. He whenever there was a new person there, he would ask them about their spiritual practice, and this one person you could tell was very devout and was telling him his spiritual practice, and he said, "Oh, well, that's all wrong." and and the person just got just deflated, right? Like you could tell they were crushed, and the person next to them said, when Niz wasn't watching anymore, he whispered, "Don't worry, he tells everyone they're wrong." if the intent is there and you just keep coming back, I don't know what the mechanism is, but I remember the time when it became effortless for me, and it just all of a sudden just something just turned and it was effortless. Again, it's all about thought. It's uh, it's all about thought, right? Desire is just more thought. So I've spent thousands and thousands of hours, right? Just just doing this, watching, practicing, watching your mind and not moving your mind to just watching it, watching the thoughts arise and then pass and not acting on them. And it's you just got to put in the time and not keep sliding back. This is why I said that I know people, Buddhists, who have done this for 4 decades and still monkey mind, right? It's because they they think that enlightenment is something that just happens and then I don't know, like so they still their mind in retreats and with their 1 hour or 2 hours every day and then they just go around trying to make the world a better place or something after that. So it's just unending coming back to the space between thoughts, constant. And again, it sounds like an effort, but there isn't really any effort in letting go. But this is as far as I can tell, this is life's purpose. So what else do you have to do? Like you got something better to do? Yeah, and just keep evaluating, right? Like just don't take my word for it. If it's not getting you where you want to go, then it's not your truth. But if you are getting glimpses of the peace and the expansive, just pure consciousness without limits, if you're starting to get that, then it will encourage you to keep with the practice. And some people, it's slower process than others, right? Like Ramana Maharshi and Eckhart Tolle, they just they were so ripe. It just took one little of wind and it fell, right? Like they were ready. They were so ready that. But we don't know how many lifetimes there was a lot of struggle before that, right? So the simplest advice is to just not get the mind, do everything in your power to slow the mind rather than speed it up. Because every time that thought comes in and you're a little bored and you're a little restless and your mind is looking for something to do, well, just don't do it. Just Imagine that. So you started watching me not knowing that I was the author of that. This is what I mean is that the organizing power of the universe is well beyond the thought realm. So, like, I remember the story of David Godman because he's the foremost authority on the life of Ramana Maharshi. And he was in India. I think he was actually studying with Nisargadatta at the time. He was in a library and there was someone on the other in the other aisle, and literally the other person put a book in and a book pushed out and fell into his hands, and I think it was Be As You Are by Ramana Maharshi. So Ramana Maharshi literally fell into David Godman's hands, and that was his life after that. So yeah, this stuff happens and it's not coincidence, and there is a deeper intelligence organizing power. And the more you get into the stillness, the more of these things will start happening. Yeah, it's it's so cool. Like it's you just go, oh wow, okay, cool. And this is where I could see like these powers, cities developing, right? But I don't want to develop them. I just like them occurring and surprising me. If anything, spiritual practice is a undoing. It's a not doing. But the not doing must be done. Yeah, bedtime's a perfect time for meditation because you can just meditate into sleep. But stilling the mind is well, the more advanced one becomes spiritually, the more they realize how crazy everyone is. Because everyone spends 99% of their time and their energy just trying to reinforce the illusion. Whenever people get together, they talk about things that they're going to do or did or their opinions. It's all reinforcing the ego. So egos are reinforcing egos. And I've pretty much checked out of humanity. I live alone in my castle on the hill. For now alone. So that's the thing about so we really screwed up because humanity has been awarded this lots of extra time, right? We're the top of the food chain. We don't have to worry about anything. We don't have to try to spend most of our energy just getting food and staying alive. We've got all this extra time to engage in spiritual practice, but we do not, do we? We don't use that time to do this, to find out what this is all about. We use it to entertain our minds and to try to keep the illusion, try to make the illusion real. And we have such an opportunity to just sit around and really investigate our own consciousness and what this world is about. But I think science especially has just taken all that from us. It's just removed all meaning from life, all reason. There's no need to complicate things. Remember, those are all just thoughts. And I know I'm just blah, 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 the same thing. But all of that stuff, even the thought, I'm not holding myself accountable. Well, even that's a thought. And it actually means nothing. Yeah. Like I know it's really difficult because just about everyone feels that these thoughts have so much power and truth and meaning to them, but they actually do not. they're they're a fabrication. They're manufactured illusions that really have no power of themselves. I know, because it seems like the entire world is running on thought, right? But look at the fucked up situation we're in. Like, it's really bad. It's so bad that people don't even realize how fucked up it is. That's how fucked up people are. But again, the more you just observe, you you learn through observation. You don't learn through thinking. So how does one determine whether thought itself is valid? Well, you can't validate thought via thought, right? So you have to validate or refute the entire thought process from observing it outside of the thought process. You see what I mean, right? So again, you don't have to work at it, you just observe. Just sit there and observe. And when you have a thought, the, the body wants to get up and act on that thought immediately, right? Well, just chill. Just let it subside and go away. There's no real reason to do anything with it, is there? But because of our programming, we believe that as soon as there's a thought, oh my God, we got to do something with it, right? Well, no, you be the boss. So that's why this isn't just peace and contentment, there's power to this as well. But like I've said, with all the power comes none of the control, which is trippy to think of that because we think that power is being able to snap our fingers and shit manifests or I can make things levitate or stuff like that. But like when Ramana Maharshi was asked about Christ's miracles, all he said was he could not have known of his power. And then they asked him to elaborate, and all he did was repeat, he could not have known of his power. And that's what I mean is that along with this awareness, this pure consciousness, there's a power because it's life itself, right? But there's you can't control it. So it's more like a clear vision is that somehow it's beyond thought. That's it. It's somehow the manifestation of that power is beyond the thinking mind, and that's why Ramana was just sitting there in this state basically, and other people around him were seeing him as Shiva or freaking pillars of little flame, and like right there, miracles going on all around him, and he had no idea. He's just sitting there being the absolute. So everything flows from that. So just again, there's no need to really worry about anything or do anything other than just the practice. Just doing this, and just like anything, that's why you get better at things in this world is because this world is a fractal or a hologram of you, of your very existence. So that's why when you practice things, you get better at it because the more that you do this, the easier it becomes. That's a guarantee. But you can't give up. You just keep with it. And like I said, what else have you got to do? like watch TV, like it's just empty, right? Like you can't fill the emptiness with more emptiness. You have to get to what's real. Now imagine having your entire life like that. Like I used to play a lot of sports and I know what it's like to be in the zone. It just seems like everything is completely effortless. You don't have to think of anything and everything just flows and you're playing your perfect game. Well, that's that state. And can you imagine being in that state your whole life? Is that you're just going with the flow, everything's effortless and everything just turns out the best. So that's kind of what I'm talking about is being able to get in the zone of life itself. But you can't control when that happens, right? You're just playing the game, and all of a sudden, it's just like, oh, well, I'm in the zone because I can't freaking miss, right? Well, that's about time. So I plan on doing this again tomorrow morning at 8 my time and 6 again my time, just like I did today. So there you go. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, just keep it up. Like again, if peace is what you want, then this is the path. And I'm testament to that. I can verify that this for me worked. And I'm assuming if it worked for me, then Ramana Maharshi said that it works, then it should work for you as well. So I'll see you at the next satsang or some other one down the road, maybe.